We are sitting here today with Lora Williams, who is the owner of Williams Law Office PC. Thank you so much for joining us, Lora.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So we're kind of catching Lora off guard a little bit, and that was done purposefully because I wanted to just get a more relaxed, unrehearsed version of you, your business, and take me just a little bit through like the history of Williams Law Office. Where did you get your start, where you're at today, so on and so forth.
So I started in my own practice in about 2000, working primarily with a single client. They were my primary client. I was their only attorney at the time, and have kind of worked through lots of processes in the meantime. Had a partner with me for about 3 years. We had our office in the Greenwood area, and worked out of that office for several years. In 2013, my partner and I split up the practice, and I moved my office here to Greensburg. So We've been in this space since 2013.
Wow.
And just in January of this year, we expanded the office.
Yeah, I just got lost walking through here. I've been here before, and I was like, oh, I guess I didn't know.
Yeah. We basically
awesome.
Doubled our space. We took over an extra suite, created a larger conference room. My office was expanded. I added another attorney in my office a year ago in October.
Yep.
And so she has an office in here. Have had an additional legal assistant come on board as well. So there's extra space for her. In the process of adding another legal assistant right now. And so that the extra space that we brought in has been filled up mostly that way. But we've been here since 2013.
Okay.
I do primarily estate planning and business planning.
Yep.
And most of that is local folks. Do a lot in the ag community and a lot of legacy building with the ag community and that kind of thing. So
yeah, I was actually looking at your website and saw how many seminars you've written and presented, and I started to count them, and I was like, that was pointless because it's extensive.
And they are not even up to date. I was just working on trying to get those up to date. I teach about 3 to 4 seminars a year.
Okay.
And mostly those are in the area of estate planning these days. Yeah. Estate planning and probate, trust administration, probate administration, those areas.
Okay.
So I've got one coming up here December the 8th, I think, is the next one that I'm teaching. And so I love doing the seminars. I like the teaching options and the teaching availability, but it also helps me get my continuing education credits because for each hour that I teach, I get several credits for my continuing education, which is a requirement that I have that each year. So
Perfect. Well, tell me a little bit. I noticed on your website as well that you're extremely involved throughout your community, and tell me a little bit about some of the history there. I've written down a couple of notes, but I'd like to hear it from you first.
So organizations I've been involved with, is that it? Okay. Yeah. So, I grew up in this community, so have been involved in all different sorts of areas. Since we moved back here with our family, I've been involved in the YMCA, pretty involved there. Have been on the board for 6 years, not currently, but was on the board for 6 years, president for 2.
Okay.
I was involved with Carousel Play and Learn Center several years ago when my kids were in preschool.
Yeah.
It's been a long time ago now, but was involved there. Greensburg Rotary has been a big part of what I've been involved with. I'm currently the secretary there. I'm a past president, Rotary Leadership Institute graduate and instructor, Paul Harris Fellow, all of those good things. Have been real involved in the Good Shepherd Christian Academy as well. When my kids were there, I was on the board there for a few years. And I'm currently on the chamber board as well. So,
and I've got United Fund.
Yep, I was on United Fund for 7 years, I think, and I was president there on that board as well. Still an active part of that board as well. Can't make it to the auction tonight, but otherwise, still very supportive of the United Fund as well.
Yeah. So tell me,
have I missed anything else?
Indiana Board of Pharmacy?
Oh, I was the consumer member on the Indiana Board of Pharmacy for 5 years. That board is made up of pharmacists. I think there were 7 of us altogether, so 6 were pharmacists, and then 1 person who has to be a consumer member, so not a pharmacist. I was that person for 5 years. served as president of that board as well for a year. Learned a ton on that board.
Yeah.
That board does licensing and discipline for pharmacists throughout this, pharmacists and pharmacy techs throughout the state. So learned a ton on that board.
Wow.
Really, really good experience.
And then I've got Indiana YMCA State Alliance as well.
Yep, I'm also.
It just keeps going.
Sorry, I should look at my website to see what my boards are. Yeah, I am still a part of the Public Policy Committee on the Indiana YMCA Alliance.
Okay.
And I also serve as their general counsel as well. So they have transitioned from kind of 41 unique entities throughout the state to kind of one large alliance. And I worked with them on putting that alliance together, getting their corporate status up to date, and all of that sort of thing. And then continue to work with them a lot on HR issues and other things that come before that alliance.
And as if that wasn't enough, I also have Decatur County REMC Trust Board on my list.
Yep. Some of these have been a few years ago, so since I'm not currently involved. I was on the REMC Trust Board, which is the Roundup program with the REMC. So when you get your bill each month, if you have a cents on your bill, you can round up to the next dollar. Those cents go into a scholarship fund or a charitable fund, I guess. And that entity then gives out grants to nonprofits in the community for various things.
Perfect.
I was president of that board for 3 years, I believe, as
Okay.
well. I think I served on there 6 years and president for 3. So
Awesome. Well, that does conclude.
does that
my
get
list.
everything okay?
But tell me, I mean, that is so extensive, and a lot of people would look at that list and be like, exhausted. Like, I'm exhausted reading your list. So tell me why that's an interest to you.
I love what I do for my work, but it's a lot of work too. And so I get my excitement from being involved. So that's, being involved in the community. I love knowing what's going on in the community. I love being involved with the people in the community. This is a great community, and it's fun. It's just fun.
Yeah.
I love being a part of the different groups and seeing what different groups are accomplishing throughout the community. And, as my business has gotten busier and as my kids have gotten older, it's harder to do that involvement, but it's still, that's where I get my excitement.
Yeah,
so,
I can tell it's a passion. The way that you talk about it, speak about it, the excitement that you're showing, just talking to me, and just that energy that you have. It's definitely a passion for you. And I think, when you look at the growth and the expansion of your business over the years, not only just adding people, but the physical expansion that we talked about this morning, and that you're successful enough to where you have to take that next step. It's time to take that next step, which is why we're actually here today, because it was talked about that you've grown the law practice, you're welcoming additional staff, you've upgraded and reworked your website, you are really focused on better serving your clients as well as your community, as we've heard through the different boards and things. You're continually furthering your education. We talked about the credits. And then on top of all of that, you're very family oriented, and that has been an integral piece of who you are and who this business is. And so we're actually here today to present you with the Greensburg Decatur County Chamber of Commerce Entrepreneur of the Year Award for 2023.
Wow.
So we're actually not here to do.
I had no expectation of that and no idea that was coming. So thank you.
You're welcome. I think so. You actually have an employee who nominated you, and so I'd like for us to go out and celebrate with your team.
Okay. Yeah. Great.